Devin from Dragon's Milk, New Holland Brewery. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Good to be back.
It's awesome to be back. I tell you what, I love this partnership. Grilla Grills, New Holland Brewery, Dragon's Milk. This has been like you say, beer and barbecue, right?
Two things that go hand in hand.
Ultimately, two peas in a pod. These two companies. It's super excited.
Yep.
It's something we really believe in. It's kind of the food and the booze world kind of coming together, and just when you think about barbecue, when you think about hanging out with one of these smokers,
of course,
what do you think about?
These are complementary to each other. And barbecue and beer with our Dragon's Milk and Grilla Grills. Very excited to partner it and use both of our qualities together. So
right on. Well, speaking of the food portion, man,
let's do it.
What are we doing?
All right, today we're going to be doing a Dragon's Milk smoked meatball. So we're going to be accompanying that with some mashed potatoes and a stout onion gravy. So to start off today, we're going to just kind of run you through the process of doing the meatballs from scratch. We got a couple ingredients here, 3 separate meats. We're going to be using bacon, ground pork, and 80-20 beef as well.
Cool.
So the first thing that we're going to do is you kind of got a fine dice ground on your bacon. So we're just going to add this to your bowl right now. And also earlier on today, we did do a pepper mix. So basically any type of peppers that you want to use with some onions, puree that down or fine chop them into like a mince area. You're also going to combine that in there for some moisture and some flavor with the meatballs too. So,
dude, that sounds killer. What's that about? Probably like a cup?
It's probably about a cup and a half. So I usually do about 3 bell peppers and 1 onion. Cut that down and you should be good to go.
Sweet.
So next we're just going to put your ground bacon in there. And on top of that, we're just going to add our pound of our ground pork as well. And we're gonna just mix all that up and get that nice and incorporated. You're just gonna wanna work and incorporate all those meats, but you don't wanna over mix it too because it will get too tough and too tacky. So,
when you say tacky, what do you mean by that, brother?
So what you want to kind of get to is once it starts sticking to your hands, that's when you kind of know that it's going to be a good incorporation.
Right on.
And a way to actually do that with the meat sticking to your hands is oil your hands up a little bit before, and it'll help make the scooping process and portioning a little bit easier on later too.
Cool.
So we're going to just, like I said, get that nice and incorporated. Some other ingredients that we're going to use is we're going to use some fresh garlic we'll put in there, minced.
Nice.
And then our pepper blend as well. So we're just gonna kind of put that in there. And the reason why we're putting these peppers in here is also gives a little bit of moisture. So when you're gonna smoke these meatballs, it doesn't dry out. That's a big thing with meatballs is moisture content. So you don't want it too rubbery or the texture to be too thick.
So what do you think? Hey, it's your recipe. I respect you all day, but what do you think about dumping the little bad boy in there?
There's no reason why you can't always pour a little bit in there. So we'll just do about 2 tablespoons in there.
You tell me when to stop, I stop.
And that's going to give it, like I said, a little bit of moisture, and that's good right there.
All right, perfect.
So then on top of that, we're going to add 2 of our eggs. This is going to bind and kind of make everything solidify together with the egg mixture. So we'll put that in there, 2 eggs, and then a 1/3 cup of some panko breadcrumbs as well. And now once we mix this, you can also go back and add a little bit more breadcrumbs to see if it's a little bit too moist. Just kind of go by. It's
probably easier just to not put a whole lot in up front, right? Because
right.
You can always adjust it
always
down the line.
add a little bit as you
Once
go.
Once it's in there.
Yep.
Perfect.
So what we're going to do, some people like to take an ice cream scooper. Personally, I just like to handball them by hand.
What are you looking for, like 2 ounces maybe?
Yeah, about 2 ounces. And like I said, you don't want to ball them too tight because then you're just going to get a rubbery texture after you smoke them.
Nice. So
I usually go about that size right there. And we're going to ball all this meat up, and once they're all balled, we'll show you guys when they hit the grill. All right, now that we have our meatballs nice and formed up, we got them on a sheet tray and a grate to kind of let them from soaking in their own grease. So we're going to be putting these on the smoker for 225 for about an hour, hour and a half until they reach an internal temperature of about 165 degrees.
Perfect.
So
nice.
We're going to go right in on Silverback. It's set to 225. Just put it right on there and let those kind of go for a little bit. For the side dish that we're going to be using with the meatballs, we're going to be doing a mashed potato with a stout gravy. So what we did, we made a potato boat basically, aluminum foil. We got our stout butter, meaning our Dragon's Milk butter, oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And you don't need to actually use a boat of aluminum foil. You can just oil your potatoes and throw them right on the grill. It should be fine. Time sensitive, throw these in there and they'll cook a little bit quicker. So we're just going to close all these up, set these right in here with our meatballs. We'll check back in on these relatively around the same time, hour, hour and a half. So And with that butter in there too, in the oil, it's going to create some steam and give it some good flavor. So
Right on, man.
awesome. So I'll check back in about an hour, hour and a half, 165, and we should see what it's all about. So
Can't wait. I'm super hungry.
all right, me too.
Super
Now time
ready.
to make some of our gravy. So that's what's up next. So,
Right on, man.
awesome.
Can't wait.
Let's
Cheers.
do it. All right, so now we're going to show you guys a little bit about the next process for the mashed potatoes and gravy. We're doing Dragon's Milk Stout gravy, like I said. So first off, you're going to start off. We made a compound butter, basically Dragon's Milk butter.
How'd you make that? Can you walk me through
So
that?
what I did basically is I just took butter, whipped it until it got nice and frothy.
Nice.
And you're gonna add in some caramelized onions that I pre-cooked, some seasonings, and add your dragon's milk in there as well, and whip that to a good consistency. And then you're just gonna freeze it.
Dude, that smells amazing.
You can smell that right off the
Yeah.
bat.
Dude, that smells insane.
So the aroma on it's really, really good. We're gonna put just a little bit of that in there, and now we're just gonna add your nice and coat the pan. And take your onions, throw those right in there.
Cool.
Just a rough julienne on these. Doesn't have to be perfect. They're just going to render down, get nice and soft.
Again, we're just looking for that kind of like
Caramelization.
Caramelization.
Yep. The
Perfect.
Maillard reaction.
Got it.
And we're going to also throw some garlic in there as well.
Nice.
So we'll just let all that marinate together. Stir that around. Just let that render down for a little bit.
Dude, I just can't get over how good that smells.
The compound butter is what literally makes this dish right here. Usually you can just use straight up normal butter, but might as well incorporate that dragon's milk flavor all the way throughout the dish. So,
100%.
so we'll let that reduce down just a little bit before. So we'll actually go back to the meatballs that we had previously put on. And a good thing to do too is just to try to taste test before your actual meatballs come out. Got some leftover, so we're just gonna put it right here on the flat top. Get a nice sear on these, and with these we don't have to keep them in their normal ball shape. We can just actually smash these down into a sausage patty. So we'll just push these down, get a nice sear on these, and then you'll be able to get kind of a gist of what your meatballs will taste like when they come out the smoker, minus the smoking flavor. So.
And if you just wanted to do like one or two of these, that'd be perfect. Because if
Yeah.
you need to adjust, then you know when you
Then you know
adjust.
to add more seasoning,
Yeah.
what you know. So
100%.
So we'll let those go. We'll just come back and check on these guys. They're getting nice and translucent. Those will probably have to go just for a little bit longer, but the next step in that, we'll actually bump this up just a little bit, is you're going to be using, so we're going to be doing a roux with this. So we have already our fat, which is our dragon's milk butter that's in here. And we're just going to add our flour and basically make a roux, which is going to thicken everything up and build a little bit deeper flavor profile. And then we're going to incorporate our dragon's milk and stout and kind of let that go off and reduce down as well. So let's go back over here, check this out. Looks like we got some good color on these. Still a little bit longer time on those. You can smell that aroma coming off that flat top. The seasoning is phenomenal. All right, now your sausage has got a nice sear on it. You guys can see it's fully cooked through. And this is just some good finger food to have too before your meatballs come off the smoker.
Dude, those caramelized up so nice too, man. They look perfect.
Great crust on that.
Yeah.
Flat top does great. I love this thing, man.
I tell people all the time, like, not to be afraid of that. That's what you want.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
It just looks so good. A lot of people aren't. It's totally cool and understandable, but you're not burning this protein. It's actually exactly what it needs.
That crust on there is
Yep.
just nothing but flavor. So we'll have that right here. Kind of pick at that too as well.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm not gonna be shy. I'm gonna jump right in.
I'll jump right in there too with you.
Heck
Why
yeah.
not?
Not cold, that's for sure. Good. That's killer.
You can definitely taste those peppers in there too as well.
Especially with this. My
So-
gosh.
For the next thing, we'll get back to our gravy. So now that we have our onions with the compound butter, those are nice and translucent. Our fat's already in there, and now to add our flour. This is roughly about 2 tablespoons. You want equal parts of your fat to flour. You can always add a little bit more too as well if you need to thicken it up. So we'll just cut
So we're
that.
talking about roux, that's just all it is, right? That's our thickening agent. You
Yep,
can do
that's
a
your
lot of
thickening
different
agent.
Things. You can do what? You can do like a cornstarch slurry.
Yep.
You can do an arrowroot slurry if you really wanted to.
Any thickener, usually you can use, even in some cases, you can use guar gum too as well.
Right
so it's
on.
like something that, you know, is just gonna bind and thicken everything up. So you let those cook through and you'll kind of see that browning of the roux in there as well. We'll let that cook for just a little bit. Keep stirring too as well. You never want to burn your roux.
It's so funny, roux is a really, really wonderful thing. And it's, you know, simplest thing in the world, but it's very, very easy to mess it
It's
up. You just
very,
gotta
very easy to mess it
Give
up.
it a lot of attention. Gotta
Always
be-
keep an eye on it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like your baby. If for 1 second you're gone, something really bad could happen.
Oh, there's
so, you
no
know.
question, man. Then you got to redo the whole thing.
Yep. All right, so lastly, now that we have our roux in there and everything's incorporated, cook that down for a little bit. We're gonna add our liquids to this. The most important part, your dragon's milk. We're just gonna add a full bottle of the dragon's milk.
Yeah, that's gonna be killer.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. And we're just gonna let that reduce by half as well, and then we're just gonna incorporate just a little bit of beef broth to thin this out.
So how many things gonna take to reduce down? Like 10 minutes?
Essentially 10 to 30 minutes, depending on how high you want to rock the heat.
Got it.
But yeah, this will just incorporate flavor, and it should thicken up relatively soon, and then that'll be right on top of the meatballs. So,
Perfect.
wow, look at those bad boys right there. These have been on for about an hour, hour and a half. Reached internal temperature of 165 degrees. And they got a nice color on them right there.
Dude, I was hanging out over
Wow.
there, and then I saw you pull those off.
And then you had to come back and check them out.
I'm like, all right, I
Definitely.
was gonna sign off for the day, but then I see these bad boys come out, man. These look amazing.
They're looking beautiful.
Absolutely. So what'd you pull, like 160 or so? Or?
Yeah, a little bit before 165. You're gonna get that carryover cooking too as
Right.
well. So, and like I said, you don't want to put them in there too much and dry them out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we're gonna get to plating right here and just put these right in front. So first off, we'll start with our bowl right here. And then you have your mashed potatoes that we pulled from the thing, from the grill. Obviously, pretty self-explanatory. We just took the potatoes, mashed them, added a little bit of butter and heavy cream, and some four cheese in there as well to just give it a little bit more texture and flavor. So what we'll do, we'll put that down as the base. And we'll take our meatballs right here, assemble them like so, and you're just gonna top them off with your dragon's milk onion gravy right over the top of it right here. And then just for
You guys
show, you're just gonna
believe we
add
get
just a
paid to
little,
do this,
just
man?
a little bit of green onions. I know, man, this is beautiful.
This is like the best job in the world. Really is.
And there you have it, your dragon's milk, mashed potatoes, stout gravy, and smoked meatballs.
Cheers. Hey, Devin, I just want to say thank you on behalf of Grilla Grills for being here. We love having Dragon's Milk, obviously New Holland.
Of course.
This has just been a pleasure. We look forward to more cool things down the line. And cheers, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.